And it is so important that we protect American democracy, that we stand up to the big lie of Trump and his allies that he really won the election. And they undermined that effort. I think what the Arizona Democrats did was exactly right.
Would you be willing to campaign against either?
So now, everybody, the Social Security Administration has just made a new announcement. There are big changes to all Social Security. SSI, ssdi, RRB, and VA beneficiaries have to know about this. So Social Security is one of the programs that have helped assist the most vulnerable Americans through the crisis. And when prices started rising in 2021, the country was reminded once again of just how deeply tens of millions of people depend on the monthly benefits that Social Security provides. And President Biden campaigned on reforming Social Security to be more fair and more efficient. But the good news, folks, is that President Biden is already starting to make improvements to the Social Security program. The most significant economic storyline during Biden's time in office so far has been rising prices and the highest rate of inflation in almost 40 years. So with the cost of everything going up and the holiday season fast approaching, the government responded to the crisis in mid-October with the largest COLA increase in 4 decades. The SSA announced that 2022 is going to bring a 5.9% increase in benefits. That's the biggest jump of any COLA since 1982. And the average retired worker now collects $92 more per month than in 2021. That's bringing the average check up to $1,657 from originally $1,565. So the 5.9% increase applies not only to retired workers, but to eligible spouses, eligible disabled recipients, and SI recipients. But back in December, President Biden signed an executive order that impacted many Social Security recipients. Plus, according to the Washington Post, the order targeted 36 federal services administered by several different departments and agencies that deal with government benefits, including things like disaster aid, student loan relief, and Social Security. Now, folks, the order was designed to reduce the so-called time tax, which Social Security recipients and other people pay, while crawling their way through a frustrating process to get the benefits that they're entitled to receive. Because of the nature of government benefits, many of those are poor people, elderly, or disabled. Among other things, the order included the creation of a new online tool to make it easier for you to apply for Social Security and to receive benefits promptly. Another big change affects the many people who collect Social Security benefits before their full retirement age, while still earning some income. In 2021, the SSA allowed recipients to earn up to $18,960 before it started temporarily withholding $1 in benefits for every $2 they earned in income. But recipients see the results of COLA as soon as they get a bigger check from the SSA. But I know many of you are still monthly Social Security benefits. And what about the fourth stimulus check? Well, here's the breaking news. So far, several Democratic senators have teamed up to propose giving Social Security recipients and beneficiaries an extra $200 per month in the wake of the crisis. This was a plan proposed by Ron Wyden, Elizabeth Warren, and Chuck Schumer. Warren wrote in a statement, increasing Social Security benefits is the quickest way to get the money out the door during the economic crisis. And the senators did not specify how they would offset the cost of the increased benefits in their plan. The proposal calls for at least $750 billion to help fight crisis and the effects it has on the economy.
President Biden singled you out at his press conference this week when he was asked if he was governing too far to the left. Take a listen.
You guys have been trying to convince me that I am Bernie Sanders. I'm not. I like him, but I'm not Bernie Sanders. I'm not a socialist. I'm a mainstream Democrat, and I have been.
What was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, I'm not Joe Biden. I like him, but I'm not Joe Biden. I'm a progressive who believes that the Democratic Party should make it clear that we are prepared to take on powerful special interests like the drug companies, like the insurance companies, like the fossil fuel industry, that we have to demand that the wealthy start paying their fair share of taxes. So look, I think President Biden has done something quite unusual. He has taken a hard look at the problems facing the American people. He's brought forth legislation to try to address that. And I respect that. But obviously, we have our strong differences.
And what do you say to those who say that part of the reason why that you're stuck, as you just described, in process and policy is because Joe Biden is governing more like Bernie Sanders than Joe Biden, and that's not what the American people asked for?
Well, I would turn that around and say, how does it happen that the policies we are now fighting for are enormously popular. You know, CNN did some polling out there. Ask whether the American people think it's time to take on the greed of the pharmaceutical industry. Ask whether we should be dealing with the existential threat of climate. Should we be building affordable housing? Should we be dealing with child care crisis? And the American people say, yeah, it's about time you did it. We're seeing the very richest people in this country, Dana, becoming incredibly richer during this pandemic, while tens of millions of American workers are struggling to make ends meet. The American people want us to have the courage to stand up to powerful special interest.
Senator,
that's what they want, and that's what we've got to do.
Here we are 1 year into the Biden presidency. Those two key priorities are stalled in the Senate, the social spending bill and climate bill, the election reform legislation. It's because Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema won't get on board. How frustrated are you?
Well, it's not only those two, it is 50 Republicans who have been adamant not only in pushing an anti-democratic agenda, but also opposing our efforts to try to lower the cost of prescription drugs, trying to expand Medicare to include dental, hearing, and eyeglasses, to improve the disastrous situation in home health care, in child care, to address the existential threat of climate change. You got 50 Republicans who don't want to do anything except criticize the president. And then you have, sadly enough, 2 Democrats who choose to work with the Republicans rather than the president, and who have sabotaged the president's effort to address the needs of working families in this country. Is it frustrating? It sure is. But my view, Dana, is we need a new direction, a new approach in the Senate. I think after 6 months of negotiating, so-called negotiating behind closed doors with Senators Manchin and Senator Sinema, we need to start voting. We need to bring important pieces of legislation that impact the lives of working families right onto the floor of the Senate. And if the Republicans want to vote against lowering the cost of prescription drugs, climate change, home health care, whatever it may be, and if the Democrats, 2 Democrats want to join them, let the American people see what's happening. Then we can pick up the pieces and pass legislation.
So I want to get
but the current course of action, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to get to more of that and really drill down on what you mean by that in 1 second. But while we're talking about the 2 senators, the 2 Democratic senators, you saw, I'm sure, that the Arizona Democratic Party censured Senator Sinema. Was that appropriate?
Absolutely it was. On that particular vote that she and Manchin cast, we were trying to address the reality that you got 19 Republican states all over this country who are undermining the foundations of American democracy, trying to make it harder for people of color, young people, people with disabilities to vote, coming up with extreme gerrymandering, taking action against independent election officials